Miami or a heat wave. Bounce back when they tell you no. Debate your greatness and flair and let them enjoy the show.
You all know who he is. If you watch The Voice UK, I'm sure we all agree that he was dumped out of it too early. But he's here to perform for you. His name is Trevor Francis. Please give him a warm round of applause. Thank you.
And just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long, baby, long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. So I'll go to my brother, and I said, brother, won't you help me please? Yes. But you know my brother just keeps on knocking me. Yeah. There'll be times that I fall. I couldn't last too long, oh, but Lord, I know it's hard to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Yes, it will. Oh, yes, it will. Oh, yes, it will. I believe it. The change. Ooh, I know.
Thank you. Like Miami or a heat wave. Bounce back when they tell you no.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm actually a mathematician, not a lawyer, so this is going to be more of an analytical summary than a passionate one, but this is something that I think should be cared about quite deeply. What I'd like to tell you today is what we brought to you as a team, which is we've explained to you why we believe the arming of the police is absolutely necessary for the safety of civilians and for the safety of the police, and how we think we can sort of tackle any arguments that could come out from opposition. Before I do that, I'd just like to take aboard the points that you guys made about corruption. And as Alan said, we think that it's wrong when the police is corrupt. We think that it's wrong when members of our police force target people by race, by ethnicity, or by socioeconomic background. We think that by empowering the police more, we have to hold them to higher scrutiny. So we're not just going to give every single police officer a gun to begin with. We think that they have to prove that they are capable of using that. They're capable of using that gun in a responsible way, and that if they ever do have to use it and are forced to use it in the line of duty, they are able to prove 100% that they were right to do so. We do not think that this is by arming the police force, we're giving them more power to abuse the trust that we place in them. We think now we have to hold them to higher scrutiny. So I hope that sort of answers some of the questions that were given. So first of all, why do we think that it's necessary to arm our police force? Right. So Tamsin's piece was about how people don't feel safe now. People don't feel safe because the threat, as Eleanor explained to you, has mutated, it's changed, right? The criminals have a monopoly over guns in our country. They're the ones that use them, not the people who protect us. We think this is massively harmful because it means that people don't feel safe. They consider the people that we appoint to protect them to be impotent in their job, which means that you don't feel safe when you walk down the street at night. We don't think that's a satisfactory way for people to live their lives. We don't want our civilian population to be living in fear. We think this is something that we absolutely have to address. And one way that we do this is by actually making it possible for the police officers who protect our country to engage in the war on our safety. We think that it's necessary to readdress the balance and to arm them in the same way that criminals are armed. We think that's massively important. Okay, so why do we think that the police have to be able to protect themselves? If you do not feel as if you are a match for a criminal gang, if you do not feel that you are able to combat them because they have more arms than you, then there are certain areas, that means that there are certain areas in our country where the police fear to go. There are certain criminal gangs which are like completely untouchable to the police. We think that's massively problematic for our safety and for the police's safety. We don't think that it is possible for you to carry out your line of duty. It is possible for you to protect the civilians that you care about when you continuously think that you are always in danger, when you continuously think that you don't have a chance to combat the force that is threatening your population. We think that's massively problematic. That's something that we want to address. We think we have to do that by arming the police. We also think that whilst we have talked about, there's been a couple of comments about escalation. We don't think that this is as a problem because we think that we can arm the police better. We think they have better resources. We think that's important because we don't think that criminal gangs respect the police. We don't think that criminals are afraid of the police. And at the point where we consider the police force to be impotent, then they become impotent. Right? We think that's incredibly problematic because when the criminals are not afraid of the police, then they become braver, they become more violent, as Eleanor explained to you. We think that when criminals face the same threats that they can offer the police from that police force, then they are less likely to take violent action. They are more likely to seek other means which are not as likely to endanger the lives of civilians. So because we think this is going to make the country safer, because right now the police are incapable of carrying out their jobs because their lives are are threatened, which we think is a problem. We think we have to readdress this balance. We have to remove the monopoly of arms from the people who do not deserve to have that monopoly, from the people that are incredibly dangerous when they have that monopoly. We think we should arm the police. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Keris. I thought that was really good, personally. I mean, I don't agree, but I thought that was really good. Right, we're going to go to the judges. So, Clencher, what do you think about that one?
I want to commend you, Keris, oozing passion. And that was one of the main things that I wanted to see from the contestants here today. So, firstly, I just want to commend you on that. I almost found myself, honestly speaking, as well, swaying because of the way that you was very analytical with it as well. So I was like, I know what my personal beliefs are, but as what Spoonie said, as a judge, obviously I have to be impartial and I have to look at both sides of the argument. So that's what I'm doing. But like I said, I almost found my views changing a bit. So obviously you know that you're very powerful with what you said up there. So yeah, definitely fed it back to us and gave us a sort of a recap, starting from Eleanor, leading through, ending with yourself, obviously. So you basically took it from the top and let it right back down again. So that's the way, and you summarised the point really well. So yeah, definitely nice. A good look.
Excellent, thank you very much. Samara.
The confidence of the way you spoke was phenomenal, and like Clencher, it was, you know, the different points, it's really making me think. It's so much food for thought that I'm starting to kind of weigh up the different kind of options and points that you've made, but I think that your ability and what you were saying as well, your argument and the way you summarised it was fantastic, and it did really kind of bring it all together, so that was great.
Excellent. Mr. Spoonie?
Keris, for someone who's a self-confessed mathematician, I think you should maybe try and carve out a career in politics for all the right reasons. It had a great flow, it's very organised. What impressed me is that even though you would have worked on your argument before you got here, you still managed to incorporate some of the points that have come from the floor and not knock yourself off track. And that's very difficult to do because you could have just stood up there and not rambled, I don't want to say ramble, but you could have just stood up there and gone through your own speech without engaging and taking on what has already been said. So I think, you know, loads of rounds of applause for that. Again, the only slight if I'm being hypercritical, is that
Simon Cowell.
you made such a good point that you could have done that in maybe 2/3 of the time because it was so strong. Yeah, that's all I'd say.
Oh, come on, Spoonie.
Well,
Come on,
just,
give the girl
you
a
know.
break. Nice one, well done, well done. Right, I'm going to get Murtaza, aka No Guns, back on here again to summarise the whole debate of being against police carrying guns. So please welcome him back to the stage again.
Okay, so just to summarize our argument against guns and why police should not be carrying guns and what our team member Loon was saying, I mean, the police has not justified that they should be allowed to carry guns. And really, we should look at the history of the police, dating back to the 19th century. I mean, there's never been every single police officer who had carried guns. In 1966, there were only 17% of police that were carrying guns because there were shootings where police officers were shot. So it's like history is repeating itself. And in the 1980s, the police actually revoked their guidelines for guns for the police officers because there were lots of shootings of innocent people. So again, not everyone agrees that, even in the Metropolitan Police, that they should be carrying guns. Peter Smythe, for example, of the Metropolitan Police, says it's not necessary. Of course, there are people in Metropolitan Police who do think that they should carry guns. But the most interesting thing is that, as Loon mentioned, that there is most police officers actually do not think they should carry guns. And these are from surveys done by the police federation themselves. So that's one thing. And also looking at the moral side of things, which has become more of an issue because the police owes the public, there's a moral duty. And not only just to the ethnic minorities, as Luke mentioned, also disabled people and family members of people who have been shot and killed. And taking that back, I mean, 9/11, for example, was a very historical landmark in the history of the world. And a lot of things changed, and new guidelines were created, like Operation Carados, with guidelines for shoot-to-kill policy that the police created. Unfortunately, it took the lives of the innocent Mr. Mendes in 2005 at the Stockwell police station in a much publicized shooting that took place, and fortunately he died. And so the police have that duty because ethnic minorities have been a target of things in the press since 9/11, and history is repeating itself, and not much has changed. And so not only that, in 2006 there was Abdul Karam, who was a victim. His house was raided and he was shot twice, and he was innocent as well. And then in 2001 there was Andrew Kernan, who was a disabled person, and he got shot and he got killed. And the police also use CS gas as well on that. And so the police also has a duty to disabled people and also families, like, well, not only Mr. Mendes, but also there's another victim called Cherry Grace in 1985. She got paralyzed because the police shot her while she was looking for her children, and she was innocent as well. So taking this into consideration, I have to say also that, as Lung mentioned, there are countries like Israel and Sri Lanka as well, and Ireland, who have guns, but you can't compare a country like those countries with England, like England, Scotland and Wales, because we live in a civilized society, especially in London, where you get 7 million people. And so looking into this, I would say the guidelines that came into place that were created, Operation Carados, was actually created when the police force consulted with the special forces in Israel. They consulted with the security forces in Israel and Sri Lanka. So these are war-torn countries. You can't compare those kind of countries to England, Scotland and Wales. And as Lung mentioned also, Northern Ireland is a war-torn country. Northern Ireland is a war-torn country. And they've actually always carried guns, the police over there, since the beginning of the 19th century. They've had guns all the time. And we always see what happens in Belfast. You can't compare Belfast to London. So to summarize, I don't think the police are justified enough to convince us that they should be allowed to carry guns, and they have a moral duty that they have a lot of work to do, and they should have a lot of thinking to do about, and they have to look at the history of policing and armed police officers. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you, Murtaza. Before I go to judges, did you want to... Oh, okay. You just done my job for me. That's great. Sorry, what's your name? Michael.
Right. Sorry, just for the benefit of anyone from Northern Ireland, because someone mentioned they were from Ireland earlier, Northern Ireland is not in a state of civil war, and it is not an uncivilised country. Northern Ireland has had troubles in the past, but it's gotten through a lot of them, and I think an argument could be made that a powerful police presence which is armed is part of what has made the city feel safer than it was in the past, and how it's been able to recover over the course of time. That's all.
See, you were fighting to make that point. Thank you. So, Murtaza, do you want to talk quickly? Very briefly, though.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry if I did say anything to upset you, but generally speaking, we see what we see on TV, and I think there is a difference. They may have control now, but I think the force is not necessary in London, for example. I think that kind of force is not necessary. Yeah.
I think Michael just accepted your point. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna go straight to the judges. We're gonna keep it moving. So Clencher, what was your view on Murtaza's point?
I just want to say, honestly speaking, anything to do with Northern Ireland and London, Northern Ireland is Northern Ireland, London or the UK is the UK here, so England or London is London. So everything that happens here, you know, it's different. It's two different places, so we need to focus on here.
Of course.
Firstly, I just want to say, obviously, that was a good summarization of your points. I feel like you were proving some really, really powerful points as to why you believe the police shouldn't carry guns. I think that the Menendez one was a very powerful one, because obviously I live around the corner from Stockwell, I live in Brixton, so I remember exactly the impact that had on our society and what it just made people feel, to be honest with you, and how it made people feel towards the police. It totally just destroyed a lot of the trust towards the police in the South London, boroughs. So that was definitely impactful. And what you said as well, you said that the woman who was disabled as well because of a stray shot. And, it's just these kind of mistakes can't afford to be made, but we're humans, I understand that. But it's true, once you do have that, with great power comes great responsibility, indeed, so to speak. Indeed. So I think if we are going to push for guns for the police, we have to make sure that they undergo specific training. That's what I truly believe. But in regards to your argument, your summaries were on point, and you did prove as to why. Do you know what I mean? You did get across your points really well as to why you believe the police shouldn't carry guns. That's it.
Thank you. I think if they were a lot more transparent in terms of how they train, that might help towards being a full argument. Yeah. Samara, please.
Just to reiterate what Clencher said, there's a fly hovering around you.
It's the cupcakes.
You were confident. You were very knowledgeable, and your delivery was great. Your use of examples and evidence to back up your argument was fantastic. So overall, I thought your summary was great. Well done.
Thank you. Mr. Spooney.
Yeah, just going on. I think a good use of facts. Again, I like things to flow. I like it to seem natural. I like there to be just that energy that just ebbs all the way through it. It was there at times, but not there enough, even though all the bits and pieces were there. That's all I say.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for the debaters, please. Thank you. Right. Right. So the winning team, without further ado, drum roll please, Mr. DJ Joe Grime, aka Deja Vu, is the blue team. Obviously, round of applause, please. Thank you. Just to summarise, obviously they put their arguments in the exact format that we want them to put it through. I mean, if you go on the website, www.theflairdebateshow.co.uk, and you see how it works, they basically delivered exactly what we wanted today. Not to say Team Red didn't, but obviously they had the upper hand today. So another round of applause for you. Congratulations. We've got Judith. Could I get the certificates, please? We've got certificates of achievement for what we're doing here today. So we're going to provide that to both winning and losing teams. So Keris, Tamsin, and Eleanor, well done again. Excellent. And basically, they'll have to show the certificates to, Mr. King at Thai and Lao, and you get your free meal whenever you want. Okay? Anyone? Okay, I'm going to pick someone. Alex, how do you think the show went?
I think it went down really well. Absolutely incredible crowd, and I really like the fact that everybody was really ready to weigh in and contribute, and you all had loads of opinions. Like, sometimes when I'm going out and training people to debate, you have to keep prodding and prodding and prodding to get them to say anything. You guys, you could all be debaters straight off. We could like have loads of debates straight here. No, it's been fantastic. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Cheers, Alex. Thank you. Well said, mate. I'm not sure about everyone being able to debate, but thanks. Okay, so please, before we go, I'd like to give another massive thanks, because once again, our guest judges, who are formidable in their own scenes and what they do, have done this gratis today, and it's not easy trying to get people to understand the concept of what we're trying to do. But I truly believe, I truly believe that the concept is strong enough to grow into something a lot bigger. So I want to start by thanking Clencher. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
You know, you're a talented guy. Please look out for him. Samara Dixon, talented lady, singer, songwriter, model, actress, gave up her time tonight. And obviously our resident DJ, who's gonna have to do this every single month. He's so excited about it as well, DJ Spoonie. Thank you. I want to give a shout out to Lionheart, who just destroyed the stage and potentially has grabbed himself some numbers tonight from some females. That's brilliant. Well done, mate. A-Dot, who's at a shoot off, and obviously Trevor Francis, and Cameron as well, if he's still here. Thank you. Thank you all very much. The website again is www.theflairdebateshow.co.uk. Basically, we're all over the internet. So our Facebook is The Flair Debate Show. Yeah, The Flair Debate Show, that's right. Our Twitter is @Flair Debate Show. And please subscribe to our YouTube. All of these guest judges and performers have given interviews talking about why they feel that this is a very important concept. So it's just The Flair Debate Show on YouTube. We are literally all over the place. So back again next month, August the 4th. We're hoping to have some we're going to have some really great performers. I can't name them now, but they're there. And we hope to see you. So without further ado, just want to thank you. Give yourselves another one round of applause. And I hope to see you next month. I've been Isaac. Thank you very much.
Like Miami or a heat wave. Bounce back when they tell you no. Debate your greatness and flair and let them enjoy the show.
I'm always the first to step away when it's on or when it goes down. When it goes down, even though I have it in me.